My name is Daksh Sethi, also known as the Wolf of Job Street, and welcome to my TEDx talk. I'm on a mission to make India's youth the best version of themselves. In multiple ways, we'll be talking about it in just a bit. But where did this journey start from? मैंने अभी आपको बताया कि मैं दिल्ली से हूँ. मैंने अपनी कॉलेज दिल्ली से करी है from Delhi University. And Delhi University is one place where I've sort of experienced perhaps the best time of my life. The 3 years of BCom honors that I did, the kind of exposure that I had, potential बहुत ज़्यादा है, the choice was mine. And when we talk about choice, when we talk about the opportunities that are available for college students, मैं बात कर रहा हूँ 18, 19, 20 साल के students के, there are a lot of opportunities around you, especially in your college life, in your university life. Opportunities बहुत सारे हैं, हम लेते नहीं हैं. ढूंढने की नज़रों से ढूंढोगे तो भगवान भी मिलेंगे, ये तो फिर भी एक चांस है, एक opportunity है. We need to make the most of these college societies, the events, the social clubs that we are a part of. This is where the learning takes place. Having said that, I attended one of the events as a second-year BCom honors student from Delhi. I attended an event in IIT Delhi, and the only reason why I went to this event was because it was in IIT Delhi. घर के पास भी था, वो भी दूसरा रीजन है, but IIT Delhi का एक brand है boss. And as a BCom honors student in Delhi University, I would love to attend an event in IIT Delhi. So हमने टिकट बुक करी, हम पहुंच गए IIT Delhi. 2 दिन का event था, and it was basically talking about AI, ML, Internet of Things, IoT, big time at that time. A lot of speakers were coming in, distinguished speakers from different industries, different corporates, coaches, बाहर से लोग आ रहे हैं, उनको सुनने के लिए मैं गया. और मैंने देखा कि उस ऑडिटोरियम में 500 बच्चे बिल्कुल मेरी तरह सेम चीज करने आए. I was just a drop in the ocean. I was just another brick in the wall. But I would never realize that till the time I actually dove deep into this. And after that event, I spoke with the organizing team. There was a company which was organizing this, and I spoke to the co-founders, husband and wife, and I understood why is it that they were doing this event. ये event क्यों किया उन्होंने? उनका background tech में नहीं है, वो tech का product नहीं बना रहे हैं. They don't want to do business and technology. Why are they doing an event for college students? Because they identified a problem. They identified an opportunity. And they identified the right people who need that chance, who need that exposure. And they brought in resources, they brought in the problem statements, the solution providers, and they did an event with 500 plus students in IIT Delhi. They were not even students of IIT Delhi. इससे मुझे एक चीज सीखने को मिली, और वो ये है कि अगर ये कर सकते हैं तो हम क्यों नहीं. और यहां से वो डेवलप हुआ कीड़ा, कि अगर ये कर सकते हैं तो हम क्यों नहीं. लेकिन करना क्या है ये अभी भी नहीं पता था, which is okay. I was clueless, but वो चिंगारी, वो जो कीड़ा होता है कि कुछ करना है अपना, वो आ गया था. A BCom honors student in Delhi University, the first thing that you would look for is a big 4 company, consulting company के अंदर आपको एक job लग जाए. And to be very honest, there's nothing wrong in doing a job. लोग बहुत कहते हैं कि आप एक नौकर बन जाते हो किसी कंपनी के, you become a 9 to 5 slave. वो सारी बातें ठीक है, एक तरीके से एक नजरिया है, but there is nothing wrong in doing a job. People retire from companies. It's perfectly fine. And so I also wanted to have a big 4 consulting brand on my resume कि एक लाइफ में कुछ अचीव किया है, but अभी भी वो कीड़ा आ गया था. एक कॉलेज का सीनियर था मेरा, and I really thank him for the kind of advices and the kind of insights that he gave me from his life. And he told me one thing, that the greatest weapon that a college student has in his or her college life. Can someone over here just raise your hand or just speak something? What is the biggest weapon that you have in your college life? Sir?
Tolerance of failure.
Tolerance of failure. Anybody? Yeah, anything that comes to your head. What is the biggest weapon that a college student has? You'll be surprised to know what it is. इतनी दूर से दिल्ली से आया मैं 1.5 घंटे की फ्लाइट पकड़ने के लिए. ये मजाक करना है. योर कॉलेज स्टूडेंट आईडी कार्ड कैसे ये मुझे भी नहीं समझ आया था जब उसने मुझे बताया था. एंड आई थिंक इट वाज प्रॉब्ली द सेम रिएक्शन. But I'll tell you one thing, there's something called cognitive learning. I will be talking about that in just a bit. My entire talk has been divided into certain chapters, and this is chapter number 2. बड़े लोगों के बीच, इसके बारे में हम बात करेंगे. उसने मुझे एक कहानी बताई, the senior of mine. He told me that go over the internet, find a website called 10times.com. It basically lists out all the corporate events, all events happening across the globe on one single website. Put in a filter, Delhi NCR, put in a time frame, February 1st to 7th, and you will find all those events which are happening in that city during that time period. You will get the details, you will get कि इस event में कौन आ रहा है, कौन क्या बोलने वाला है, agenda क्या है, इसका delegate fees कितना है, etc., etc., etc. You identify a theme जो आपके साथ थोड़ा align करता है, जहाँ पे थोड़े से senior लोग आने वाले हैं, and you land up at the event. You haven't registered it yet. उससे क्या हो रहा है? उससे आप अपना college ID card दिखाते हो, you go to the registration desk, and you say something very simple. ये हकीकत है. I'm not making this up. I've done this. A lot of college students do this. It's not a scam. It's absolutely ethical to do this. You go there as a college student, and you tell them that I want to attend this session because I'm doing a research on this topic, and I want to attend this maybe for half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour. You will be inside the same room with people at a director, manager, CEO, CHRO level, in the same room, talking to them, probably having coffee with them, which you would otherwise take 5, 7, 10 years of corporate experience to achieve. But you as a college student, using the greatest weapon that you can have, your college student ID card, जिस पे अभी आप सब लोग हंस रहे थे, can get you that. Now what do you do? Cognitive learning. आप इससे सीखते क्या क्या हैं? और सबसे ज़रूरी चीज़, 3 Idiots मूवी का डायलॉग है, यूनिफॉर्म होनी चाहिए. आप अपने पजामे में और शॉर्ट्स में नहीं जा सकते. You suit up. You become the best version of yourself. That strong woman, that strong man coming into that auditorium means business. So the way you walk, the way you talk, the body language, you observe people sitting on that stage, उन्होंने mic कैसे पकड़ा, how are they sitting, how are they talking, how are they shaking hands, how are they sipping coffee. वो बातें क्या कर रहे हैं, उनकी प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट्स कहाँ हैं, वो सॉल्यूशंस किन चीज़ों के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, आपकी पूरी थिंकिंग चेंज हो जाएगी. एज अ कॉलेज स्टूडेंट 18, 19, 20 साल की बात कर रहा हूँ. एंड दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई डिड. एंड वहीं से मुझे एक आइडिया आया कि कुछ करते हैं. एंड वहाँ से पहले कदम की तरफ मैंने जाना शुरू किया. अब करना क्या था, ये एक बहुत ही मेजर प्रॉब्लम थी. सो आई डिड अ बिट ऑफ रिसर्च, एंड थ्रू दीज इवेंट्स आई स्टार्टेड फिगरिंग आउट व्हाट आर द प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट्स दैट कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स इन जनरल आर फेसिंग इन द कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड. एंड आई डिड अ बिट ऑफ रिसर्च. मैंने लोगों से बातें शुरू करी, मैंने इवेंट्स में जाना शुरू किया, हेड्स से बात करनी शुरू करी, एंड आई पिन पॉइंटेड अ प्रॉब्लम. I pinpointed exactly what I wanted to do, job readiness. ये प्रॉब्लम पहले भी थी, ये प्रॉब्लम आज भी है. प्लेसमेंट सेल्स के पास प्लेसमेंट्स नहीं आ रही, बच्चे हैं क्वालिफाइड नहीं हैं, टेक्निकल स्किल है सॉफ्ट स्किल नहीं है, बात नहीं करना आता, रेज्यूमे रेडी है, इंटरव्यू में बैठ नहीं रहे हैं, इंटरव्यू में बैठ रहे हैं बोल नहीं पा रहे हैं. Where there is a huge problem. What are we doing about this? सॉफ्ट स्किल्स की वर्कशॉप्स आने लग गई, बहुत सारे वर्कशॉप्स आने लगी जिसमें आप बाहर से ट्रेनर्स को बुलाते हो, कॉर्पोरेट इंटरेक्शंस होते हैं, कोई एचआर आपसे आके बात कर रहा है लेकिन उसका टैंजिबल रिजल्ट नहीं आ रहा है. एंड दिस द प्रॉब्लम आई आइडेंटिफाइड. एंड उसके बाद पानी में छलांग मारी, क्योंकि पानी में कूदेंगे तो तैरना तो सीख ही जाएंगे. अ स्टेटमेंट दैट हैज स्टेड विद मी फॉर अ वेरी वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम. वहाँ से पैदा हुआ मेरा पहला बच्चा. कंपनी, अ बिजनेस, अ स्टार्टअप इज लाइक अ बेबी ऑफ योर्स. यू वेरी इमोशनली अटैच्ड, सो आई कॉल इट अ बेबी. एक के बाद दूसरा हुआ, दूसरे के बाद तीसरा हुआ, तीसरे के बाद चौथा हुआ. आज हम 5 कंपनीज पर हैं. बट वो शुरुआत कहां से हुई? उस कॉलेज आईडी कार्ड से, विच स्टिल स्टेज विद मी. एंड आई ट्रैवल द कंट्री डूइंग वर्कशॉप्स, ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स with institutions you can probably relate to, with institutions that are pan-India, now at a global level. The Wolf of Job Street. I was working with an edtech platform, the logos on the screen, one of them, and वहाँ पे एक online course मैं कर रहा था, which was for interview preparation, a 2-day program, a live masterclass. Some students enrolled into that program, and the program ended. उस course का नाम था The Wolf of Job Street. ये मैंने नहीं दिया था, उस company ने रखा था. The course was done, very good response. The next week, the following week, I got a DM in my Instagram. On my Instagram, there's this girl who's sending me a message saying, "Sir, I took your course, The Wolf of Job Street, and I want to tell you that I have cracked my interview. I was struggling to crack this job interview for a very long time. 2-3 interviews मेरे नहीं clear हुए. I was struggling at home. घर पे pressure बहुत था. I took this course. I want to tell you one thing. The name of the course, The Wolf of Job Street, is not right. You are the Wolf of Job Street." वहाँ से मैंने वो खिताब उठा लिया. It's a very catchy line, yes, of course, but I really took that to my heart, and I could feel that I'm making some kind of an impact, and that is where the Wolf of Job Street started. And you can see the journey has been beautiful. पानी में कूदा था, तैरना सीख गया. उस कॉलेज आईडी कार्ड की अहमियत बहुत ज़्यादा है. But who are the kinds of people that I'm working with today? मेरा टारगेट ऑडियंस क्या है? एक नया नजरिया. I am working with भारत का युवा, the younger population, people just like yourselves. Now, things have changed. The way we would do business, the way we would think, the way we would hire people, the way we would have an environment in our offices has changed. Everything is changing. And जो इस भारत का युवा है, it is now the biggest working population, will be the biggest working population in about 5 years' time, will also be the biggest consuming population. इसका मतलब हमें पुरानी सोच को थोड़ा सा मोल्ड करना है, थोड़ा सा समझना है और नई सोच को लेकर आना है. Symphony of change. This is the change that I want to bring in. And how do you do this? This bracket of 12 to 26 as on date is called भारत का GENZ. अब GENZ के साथ एक negative connotation attach हो गई है, उसके बारे में हम थोड़ी देर में बात करेंगे. How many in the audience fall into this category? All right, you will actually be a part of the biggest working population in 5 years' time. You will be the biggest consuming population in India in 5 years' time. अगर हम आपके बारे में नहीं सोचेंगे, आपकी thinking को नहीं जानेंगे, तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं? हम पुराने टाइम में रहने वाले हैं. And there are various problems, there are various opportunities, and these opportunities need to be understood. And just like yourselves in the audience, ये मैं नहीं बोल रहा, ये मेरे साथ मेरे पीछे की audience बोल रही है. तो मैंने जनता की आवाज को सुना, and I did something which I love doing, research. मैं मन से कुछ नहीं बताता, एक YouTube वीडियो को देख के नहीं बताता, एक Instagram रील ट्रेंडिंग वीडियो को देख के कुछ नहीं बताता, मैं रिसर्च करके बताता हूँ. And I did a simple questionnaire. The moment I got an invite from TEDxAvantika University, I was like, boss, अब time आ गया, time है नहीं. I was very busy, I was traveling as well. So I made a quick questionnaire. And इस questionnaire को बहुत ही comprehensive तरीके से बनाया. We had about 48 hours in which I circulated this everywhere possible on my Instagram, on my social media handles, on the WhatsApp groups, faculties के साथ, my entire team got to work, and we got about 1,254 responses in about 48 hours, which is a good number. Why? Because we have a set of questions and we wanted to understand, and this slide tells us what the objectives of this questionnaire was, and I'll be telling you about in just a bit. So the thinking of the Gen Z, the opportunities, the challenges, evolution कैसे हो रहा है businesses का, ये मेरे लिए भी बहुत important insights थी, and of course the road map ahead. Now the categories that I interviewed and the questions that went through were to essentially 5 people, 5 categories, and you will find yourselves in either of these 5 categories. The number corresponding to each category are the number of responses I got. These were a few questions from challenges, opportunities. So सबसे पहले हमने Gen Z से बात करी. Gen Z से पूछा कि भैया आपको ऐसा क्यों लगता है कि आपकी generation Gen Z is better or a little different from the previous generations? Top 5 responses on your screens. Very interesting responses, but expected as well. But were they delusional? थोड़े time में बात करेंगे. What are the different problems, challenges that working population as Gen Z is facing? So somebody working at a 23, 24 years old age will also understand what the challenges are for Gen Z. Some of the biggest 5 challenges. This is not somebody who's at 30 years old or 40 years old saying this is somebody just like yourselves talking about your own generation, which means there are challenges and we need to identify. But there are some other problems associated with colleges. And I'm sure the faculty sitting right in the front row would agree with some of these. Attention span नहीं है, distractions बहुत ज़्यादा है, बहुत सारी चीज़ें, overload of information, etc., etc. We then spoke to them about what are the kinds of purchase decisions you take. आप decision लेने के time पे influence किन चीज़ों से होते हो? ये भी एक बहुत important insight है from a business perspective. Why? Because I, as part of my entrepreneurial journey, I have a huge target audience of the Gen Z category. So if I'm not understanding how you are thinking, what you want to know, how you want to purchase products and services, I am not doing a good job in business. So these were important insights. We spoke to some faculty, some college students, some college faculty, some teaching faculty, and the faculty in the audience would agree with this. Limited attention span, बहुत छोटा हो गया है. ये Gen Z ने खुद भी बोला था. Lack of interest shown, casual attitude आ गया है faculty के प्रति. Poor writing and listening skills. We want everything tech. So writing and listening बहुत problematic बन गया है. We spoke to some business owners, some CEOs, some founders. What are the challenges that businesses are facing and how are they adapting to it? Social media validation पे बात हो रही है. Focus on customer feedback बहुत ज़रूरी है आज की डेट में. Technology कहने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Affordability, customization. These are insights that a lot of people did not know about. We spoke to some psychologists and psychiatrists. The previous speakers have spoken about mental health. This is what psychologists and psychiatrists are saying. What are the primary stressors? Boss, wrong te khade ho gaye the, ye responses dekh ke. Parental and academic expectations बहुत high हो गई हैं. Social media addiction, major problem. पता नहीं चलता हमें addiction है. We have lack of acceptance within us. But a psychiatrist who's trained to understand this, to diagnose this, is telling us that social media addiction is a huge, huge problem. Inadequate disruptive sleep patterns, जो पहले के टाइम पे प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं थी, आज के डेट में बॉडी मेंटल हेल्थ को बहुत ज्यादा इंपैक्ट कर रही है. स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट नहीं है, एंड कॉन्स्टेंट अर्ज फॉर वैलिडेशन, सोशल एंड एक्सटर्नल वैलिडेशन. बट वेयर डज दिस ब्रिंग अस? दिस ब्रिंग्स अस टू द वर्किंग पॉपुलेशन. आपको रिक्रूट जो कर रहा है, जो आपका जो एचआर जो आपकी इंटरव्यू में बैठने वाला है, आपका मैनेजर जो आपको मैनेज करने वाला है, वो क्या सोच रहे हैं? व्हाट आर द, ऑफ कोर्स द अपॉर्चुनिटीज, क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग, टेक savvy, but what are the challenges? What are the primary challenges? Lack of patience, poor stress management, again professionalism खत्म हो रहा है. और ये stem down होता है with that lack of that ease of attitude towards faculty, to your work. Lack of professionalism खत्म हो रहा है. Professionalism is a huge, huge problem. But then let's talk about the change. This is exactly what we are here for. The symphony of change. This change is bound to happen. Gen Z in the next in the next 5 years will be the biggest working and consuming population, and you and I cannot stop that. But there is a lot of things that we can do to accept this change and direct it into the right direction. Professionalism needs to be paramount at workplace. So offices, businesses, managers are keeping professionalism right on top. We now have to turn teachers into edutainers. I'm not talking about कि यहाँ पे आप stand-up comedy करो, but having a relatable sense with your student is so important today, because आप जो समझाना चाहते हो वो कितना ही ज़रूरी क्यों ना हो, अगर बच्चे को समझ नहीं आ रहा तो हमें कहीं ना कहीं खुद चेंज करना पड़ेगा. And today making it relatable, उनका लिंगो समझना, वो किस तरीके से सोच रहे हैं, उन सारी चीज़ों को समझ के उनके साथ उनको पढ़ाना has become very, very important. You have to understand social media. Goes without saying. You have to understand that feedback and constant change is going to be required. एक mundane तरीके से, एक monotonous तरीके से काम आज की डेट में नहीं हो सकता. The psyche, the lingo, the likes, the dislikes, and the process, the trends, the fads need to be understood. The startup ecosystem. Startups have become a normal career option today, which is a great thing. Can we have a round of applause for the fact that startups have become a normal career option? Colleges, universities are putting a lot of stress on e-cells, on incubators. कि startups हैं, ideas हैं बच्चों के पास, startup can be a good career option. Parents today have normalized the fact that there's a show called Shark Tank India. वहाँ पे लोग आते हैं, अपने business ideas के बारे में बात करते हैं, and they are people just like us. Startup ecosystem is very, very important. Corporate interaction at a very early age, 16, 17, 18 onward, शुरू हो जाना चाहिए. Businesses will continue to evolve. Consumption will take place. Jobs will come and go. It's bound to happen. Teaching will obviously not stop. Technology is here to stay. And the symphony of change is only going to grow louder and louder with Bharat ka Gen Z. This was my time. My name is Daksh Sethi. Thank you, TEDxAvantika, for inviting me. You've been a lovely audience. Jai Hind.